Blog Talk Radio.
You're listening to The Limo Show, presented by Town Livery. And here's your host, David Bastian.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Limo Show, coming to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, via the World Wide Web. My name is David Bastian, your host, bringing you The Limo Show on Blog Talk Radio. I encourage anyone out there that's listening to the live stream to call the Limo Show hotline anytime during the show. If you have any questions for myself or our two guests tonight, you can reach us at the Limo Show hotline at 714-868-0786. That's 714-868-0786. We all know that BMW is known for its performance and luxury vehicles, and it is a global leader in premium car sales. The BMW logo also is ranked as one of the top 10 of the world's most recognized logos. The Limousine Hotel and Shuttle Program may be new to North America, but it's not to Europe. BMW has established itself as an industry leader in the European livery market. BMW also has earned awards for its performance and reliability to the industry. Let's talk about some of these awards. The Chauffeur Car of the Year awards are run by an industry online publication, and it's called thechauffeur.com. The awards are set out to discover and crown the best vehicles to suit the hire and reward chauffeur market in the UK. These vehicles that are competing for the award are placed into categories, and the categories are based on price. The chauffeur industry of the UK is invited to give their feedback on these vehicles that have been shortlisted, and the feedback that comes from the industry is what gives the judges a good idea on how the vehicles perform over time rather than just how they drive. And once that information is gathered, the vehicles are judged, and then the Chauffeur Car of the Year is crowned. In both 2010 and 2011, BMW fared quite well in the industry, scooping up awards for both the 5 and 7 series. BMW is now offering to the limousine livery industry of the United States these award-winning products. For today's show, I've invited two special guests to help discuss the BMW 5 and 7 series models. We've invited to the show Drew McClellan from BMW Corporate Fleet Sales and Mark Minnick, one of my coworkers from Town BMW. Drew and Mark, welcome to the Limo Show.
Hello, David.
I'm great, David, and thanks for having me on.
Great. I'm glad that you both were available to come on the show, and I've been looking forward to this show for the last couple of weeks, and I'm glad tonight that we're able to pull it off and talk about BMW. Tonight we're going to focus on BMW's Hotel and Limousine Shuttle Program, and this program was officially unveiled at the 2012 LCT show in Las Vegas. I've got to say, BMW made a huge splash at the show and really got attention of the limousine industry. This was BMW's first limo show in the United States, and since the new program was announced. Drew, I've got a question for you. Can you share with the listeners what you experienced at the show and what type of feedback that you received regarding the BMW products?
Well, sure, David. I can tell you the LCT show in Las Vegas exceeded our expectations by far. The attendees were both inquisitive and offered some good suggestions as we are launching into this market for the first time here in the U.S. They were very helpful with regards to how they felt we could position our products in the industry, as well as very interested in how the BMW product, primarily the 7 Series and the 5 GT Gran Turismo, can fit into their livery operations. There was huge interest also in the Rolls-Royce Ghost extended wheelbase, which, as you know, we rolled out at the show as well. But primarily, I would say most of the interest came with regards to the 5 Gran Turismo. It is a vehicle that has a great niche in the livery industry, both from a passenger and luggage perspective, and the feedback was super.
This was BMW's official coming out party for the industry in the United States, like I mentioned before. Drew, can you give the listeners an overview of the program that was introduced at the show and how it will benefit the operators within the industry that are considering adding a BMW to their fleet?
Yeah, David, I think that, overall, the benefit that BMW can bring is obviously our ultimate driving machine is just that. It does provide both luxury and a sports appeal, as well as a luxurious opportunity to support your clients and passengers in a variety of different ways. The ability that BMW has to offer this product in a segment of the black car market, if you will, that is changing dynamically as we talk today, really is a fantastic opportunity to deploy this Gran Turismo into their fleet operations.
At the beginning of the show, I mentioned BMW, and I mentioned how it's an established commodity to the limousine livery industry in the UK and in Europe. Drew, can you tell us what role BMW plays in the European market and how the vehicles differ from the vehicles that are in the United States?
Well, I think in the United Kingdom, obviously BMW plays a very large role in the livery market, as you mentioned, with the chauffeur industry being one of the top-rated transportation industries in the UK, utilizing the BMW 5 Series, 5 GT, and 7 Series primarily. I would say that the main differences are obviously the steering wheel is on the wrong-hand side of the vehicle.
Yep.
But the diesel product is also one that is widely used in the UK and in Europe. I think you will find that most vehicles that are operated in the UK are a diesel-powered engine, not a petrol-powered engine. In addition, on the 5 GT and in the 7 Series, we do have a specific livery package that can be ordered for the vehicle. That's not something we have here in the U.S., but I know as soon as we see the success that we're expecting in this market segment, it's something that we will be evaluating on a regular basis.
Now, earlier today, I was looking at the 2013 model specs, and I came across something that mentioned that there's going to be some refreshing done on the 5 and 7 Series. What kind of changes can we expect as far as the refreshing for those two models for 2013?
Well, I can tell you, David, I'll speak specifically to the 7 Series because we are in what we call an LCI midlife impulse right now, or life cycle change, lack of a better word, a facelift for the vehicle. Very minor changes, but you will see some enhancements with regards to maybe a different looking bumper. You'll have some navigation enhancements in the nav system, and also there'll be some interior refinements and enhancements of the 7 Series. That is coming out again in the 2013 model, which we start production at our plant in Germany in July.
That's great. Mark, let's switch to you and talk about the BMW 5 Series GT. Like I mentioned to you before, the BMW 5 Series GT has won some awards. For 2011, it won Best in Class by thechauffeur.com for Car of the Year. The vehicle is also considered to be the automotive world's #1 progressive activity sedan. Can you tell us why, Mark?
Yeah, essentially, Dave, the 535 Gran Turismo is, in fact, the world's first progressive activity sedan. If you look the word up in Webster's dictionary, progressive, it essentially means any activity that favors progress or an improvement of the status quo. That's what this car is. So when we talk about it being a progressive activity sedan, we're really talking about its dual nature of being a true driver's enthusiast sports sedan. And if that's not enough to take notice, it also has the versatility and spaciousness of an SUV. But as we like to say at Town BMW, an SAV, sport activity vehicle.
Now, the BMW 5 Series GT, it does represent amazing value for the money. It offers the rear seat clients almost the same comfort space as the 7 Series, incredible miles per gallon, and adequate space for luggage. The 5 Series GT comes standard with a dual-access tailgate. Drew, can you share with the listeners what a dual-access tailgate is and the benefits that go along with it?
Sure, David. It is a remarkable design, and I think that all livery operators would find it something that would certainly please both their drivers and their passengers. But as you mentioned, the 5 GT has equivalent rear legroom and greater than the X5 headroom, X5 being our largest SAV, or sports activity vehicle. But with regards to the dual tailgate as it operates within the 5 GT, I think that one of the things to keep in mind is that luggage can be accessed by a dual open tailgate, as we call it, with an opening similar to that of a sedan, which pops up in the back trunk, as we call it here in the U.S., and also allows a tailgate to be rolled down for larger items that may need to be put into the vehicle. By opening the rear tailgate and lowering it down, you're able to access the luggage and the items in the trunk without disturbing the passengers, as you don't have to open the hatch, keeping the passengers either warm in the winter or cool in the summer, and not disturbing them as they're sitting in the back of the vehicle.
At the show, that was the feature that impressed me the most. I didn't realize that the BMW 5 Series had that, and when I was at our booth, we got so much great feedback regarding that feature when customers came over to talk to us about BMWs. The cockpit is the next thing I'd like to talk about. The cockpit on the 5 Series, it features the same sleek dashboard and controls as the 7, with the suspension settings, which gives the 5 GT an identically smooth, silky ride as its bigger brother. Mark, can you talk about the 5 Series GT suspension, in particular, dynamic driving control?
Well, of course. Well, first, David, but to start that conversation, we'd first have to start talking about the design goals that the German engineers first must achieve, okay? And that is, the car must first have the right feel so that the driver feels he has direct contact with the road. Now, also in addition to this, if the road is rough, the designers must also design into the suspension a system of, say, multi-link components and spring and strut technology and, yada, 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 that it swallows up all these bad spots on the road but doesn't affect the comfort of the passengers. Okay? So in the 535 Gran Turismo, and then, our engineers have basically given the driver the option to adjust the suspension parameters based on handling, performance, and comfort. This is called driving dynamics control. Now, what makes it unique, it just doesn't affect the suspension. There are 4 driver settings. There's comfort, normal, sport, and sport plus. In the sport modes, things such as the transmission shift characteristics, the amount of power steering, assist, those designs or those features are also affected in that particular mode. So DDC basically gives the driver ultimate versatility and flexibility in choosing the best possible driving experience in his 535 GT.
Drew, before we started the show, you had talked about how BMW is the ultimate driving machine.
That's correct. BMW is the ultimate driving machine.
Exactly. Now, can you tell the listeners who haven't driven a BMW or haven't been driven in one why it's referred to as that?
I think that, as Mark has pointed out, the connection between the driver and the vehicle and the road allows them to be one, which is an amazing experience as you operate the vehicle, either in a city or highway operation. In addition, the passengers in the back of a 7 Series or a 5 GT feel the comfort and the security of that vehicle as it is approaching and going down the highway. The ultimate driving machine is something we take very seriously here at BMW, and we know that the minute anybody experiences it, whether it's a chauffeur with passengers in the back, they'll understand what the ultimate driving machine really means.
Mark, is there any other additional information you'd like to share about the 5 Series? Anything that's unique?
Yeah, of course, yes. One thing we didn't touch on, we did. We kind of glazed over it, was essentially, in fact, Drew just mentioned it, was performance. You know, talking about the 535i GT or 535xi GTI would not be complete without mentioning that this vehicle is equipped with a 3-liter twin-power turbo, 300 horsepower inline 6-cylinder engine.
Mm-hmm.
This motor develops 300 foot-pounds or foot-feet of torque, and this comes on as low as 1,300 RPM. And essentially, BMW has their mandated design philosophy is what's referred to as efficient dynamics. Efficient dynamics requires fuel efficiency. So essentially, with our high-precision direct injection, BMW can lower the emissions up to 20%, thusly meeting all federal ultra-low emission standards. So with efficient dynamics, essentially, it's BMW's way of saving the planet and saving your pocketbook simultaneously.
And to the limousine livery industry, that is extremely important. Drew, before we head off to break, is there any other additional information you'd like to share regarding the BMW limousine program?
Well, I mean, I think that, David, one thing certainly is our total cost of ownership and how our efficient dynamics plays into that, as Mark just mentioned. But our 50,000-mile, 4-year, no-cost maintenance obviously contributes greatly to that total cost of ownership benefit. We also have the option to acquire an extended warranty of up to 100,000 miles in 6 years. So overall, the total cost of operating a BMW vehicle is extremely aggressive in the industry, and I think is one that the livery operators will find very, very positive to their bottom line.
Drew, I know that you have some other obligations tonight, and you have to leave during the break, but if a listener out there wants to reach you, how can they get in touch with you? And I've got one more question. Can you share with the listeners how they can get set up with a BMW fan code? Because obviously you need a fan code to purchase one of these vehicles under the livery program.
That's correct, David. I think first off, I'll give our 800-855 number out here real quickly. It's BMW Group Fleet can be reached at 1-855-217-9819. Again, 1-855-217-9819. Or you can email us at bmwgroupfleet@bmwna.com. That's bmwnorthamerica.com. And second part of your question with regards to enrolling for the LFAN, which is a limo fleet account number, you can send inquiries or call that number that I gave you, and we will take your information and send you the enrollment forms and get you on your way to your closest dealer so you can acquire your BMW.
Drew, thank you again for spending the time with us tonight. We're going to continue on with the show, but we appreciate the time you've given us.
Great. David, thanks as always. Good speaking with you. And Mark, thanks for your time as well. Take care, and we'll talk to you both soon.
Sounds good. Sounds good. When we come back from break, we will be discussing the BMW 7 Series, and we will be taking calls from you. Now is the time to get on board. If you have any questions for Mark or myself, you can reach us at 714-868-0786. That's 714-868-0786. You're listening to The Limo Show, presented by Town Livery, here on Blog Talk Radio.
Would you like a marketing partner that not only understands marketing, but knows the transportation industry inside and out? Are you struggling to attract new customers, retain your current customers, or win back lost customers? If you find yourself saying yes to any of these questions, there's only one place to call. Call the marketing wizard of the limousine industry, Arthur Messina from Create-A-Card. Create-A-Card is the #1 supplier of business cards, marketing supplies, and promo items to the limousine industry of North America. Contact Create-A-Card today at 1-800-753-6867. That's 1-800-753-6867. so they can help transform your marketing and advertising into consistent sales-generating machines. You can also find us on the web at createcardinc.com. That's createcardinc.com.
Are you looking to add or replace vehicles in your fleet? If you are, call Town Livery. Town Livery is a Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Hyundai, and BMW dealer that specializes in selling livery vehicles nationwide. Town Livery is located in Buffalo, New York, and able to ship your vehicle to you at an affordable price. When you think of livery vehicles, think Town Livery. Town Livery can be reached at 800-730-3683. That's 800-730-3683. One-stop shopping at Town Livery. You're listening to The Limo Show on Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome back. You are listening to The Limo Show, presented by Town Livery, and it's heard 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on Blog Talk Radio. We have Mark Minnick on the show. He's one of my coworkers, and today we are talking about BMW and the Limousine Hotel and Shuttle Program that BMW just introduced at the LCT show back in February. Mark, let's discuss the BMW 7 Series. How does the BMW 7 Series differ from the 5 Series GT?
Okay, well, the most obvious difference is that a 750 Li, which is the long wheelbase version, it measures 206 inches from nose to trunk end. Now that's almost 17 feet long. The wheelbase is 5 inches longer than a 5 Series. So 5 inches doesn't sound like a lot, but when you place one next to the other, you can pretty much see that this is a long and large vehicle. In addition to that, you know, the 7 just oozes luxury and performance. You know, the 535, as I mentioned earlier, it leans a little bit more towards the activity part of its name, meaning, you know, they never sacrifice luxury to accomplish this, but it's really best set up for, like, again, when, as Drew mentioned earlier too, in terms of getting luggage in and out of the hatch, and you know, when you put down the rear seat, you have something like 60 cubic feet of trunk space with this vehicle. So you know, that's quite a bit of trunk space.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And for the limousine livery industry, it's extremely important. One of the things that's occurred, Mark, over the last few months with Lincoln Town Car going away is the fact that the industry is now looking for that livery car. You know, a lot of the people in the industry want to find that perfect car because Town Car for years was, and still is until they go away, the perfect car. Unfortunately, what's left in the industry are a lot of smaller cars, so the days of bigger cars are gone. What I like about the BMW is it does offer, a premium luxury, so much more luxury than a town car, and the fact that it's bigger and has more luxury space than a lot of the competition out there, I think will make it more desirable for the industry. Now, Mark, how does the 7 Series stack up versus the Mercedes?
Well, in terms of size, again, we still beat them in size. It's 3 inches longer there. I haven't personally checked out the rear legroom space. At first glance, it looks like there's also more rear legroom. But one of our true advantages over our competitors, I can't help but I keep on coming back to what's referred to as efficient dynamics. Mm-hmm. You know, and essentially, what that means is that, you know, we can build a car and give it a lot of horsepower, but still make it somewhat easy to maintain because of the maintenance warranty. You know, essentially the ultimate maintenance service agreement that pays for all of the maintenance for 4 years under 50,000 miles. In addition to a relatively respectable MPG ratings.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of our true advantages. Our competitors keep on coming up with ways to outdo us on performance, but they will always sacrifice economy when they do this. BMW has a long-term commitment to ultra-low emissions. Okay, and it's one of their design goals that's implemented into every one of their products. So we could talk for hours about we could go over feature for feature and option for option, comparing our car to Mercedes-Benz and what their car has and what our car doesn't. But I can't help but think it reminds me of something that Frank Lloyd Wright once said. He said he said this about technology. He said if this keeps up, men will atrophy their limbs, save the push button finger.
There you go. Now, both the BMW 5 and 7 Series offer all-wheel drive models, and they call this the X-Drive. What are the advantages of purchasing an X-Drive model over the rear-wheel drive models, and are there any differences in the performance? Do you lose performance because you're getting an all-wheel drive?
The interesting thing is that if you drive a rear-wheel drive 7, then you drive a X-Drive 7, you will not be able to tell the difference when you're driving in, we'll say, just normal driving conditions. It doesn't feel any heavier. It really doesn't feel any different. You really don't know that you're in one vehicle that's rear-wheel drive and one vehicle that's all-wheel drive. The true advantage of X-Drive is that, no matter what the driving conditions are, X-Drive has the ability to overcome whatever the driving surface happens to be. Whether that be snow, rain, wet leaves, you name it.
Going on the beach?
Going on the beach, I don't think that one would work. So, but again, the true advantage is essentially that when the weather turns ugly, that's where X-Drive really begins to shine.
No doubt about it. Now, when you compare, let's say, for example, a BMW 7 Series that has rear-wheel drive to a BMW 7 Series with X-Drive, what's usually the price jump between adding that X-Drive option?
It's a $2,000 difference, $2,000 to $25,000, depending on whether it's short wheelbase or long wheelbase. And it certainly is worth the money. And again, it goes back to, if you're living in Miami, Florida, I don't really see too much of a need and/or reason for X-Drive. But, anywhere north of the Mason-Dixon line, I think the X-Drive is certainly the way to go.
Drew touched on it, and you touched on it, and we talked about the maintenance program Ultimate Service that comes with BMWs. What does Ultimate Service cover?
Okay. Well, it's essentially it's a maintenance service agreement, which it covers all of these scheduled maintenance intervals for 4 years and/or 50,000 miles, and that's at no cost to the consumer. It covers not just the maintenance; it also covers the replacement of any parts at no cost.
So you're talking about brake pads, things like that?
It actually covers brake pads, absolutely. So if your wife has a heavy foot and you go through brake pads, every 10,000 miles, they're going to cover it. There might be a visit by the local BMW rep just to look to see if there's anything going on fishy, but it still will be covered. So and it covers essentially everything. The only thing it doesn't cover is tires, because tires obviously are from another manufacturer. So oil changes, rotation of tires, replacement of brake pads, replacement of wiper blades, filters, you name it, it is covered.
One of the things that I'd like the listeners to know, and Drew mentioned it earlier in the show, is the order banks will be opening soon for the 2013 models. We at Town Automotive and Town Livery, if you have any questions regarding the BMW products, give us a call. If you're ready to give BMW a chance and put one in your fleet to give it a try, we'd also like that opportunity. Right now, 2012s, we can find some, or we may have something in inventory that may meet what you're looking for. But if we can't, we can always order you a 2013 and get you exactly what you want. If we order a 2013, or if we generally order a vehicle, Mark, for a BMW customer, and the reason why I'm asking this is customers that have traditionally have bought Lincolns generally don't have to order them because we usually have them on the lot. What's usually the turnaround time for ordering a BMW as far as getting it from Europe over to the dealership?
Turnaround time, because again, being that it's a European-built vehicle, is more like 60 days. So, for instance, for 2013, the production run that's coming up next is July. But I think they're really going to jump on this quickly, and I would tend to think that we should have 2013 product by August as opposed to September.
So we're only a few months away.
Yeah, that's what my thoughts are. Based on what I just heard Drew say and all the information I've been getting, they're very excited about this program, and it's now time to do business.
Yeah, and I agree, and I'm extremely excited about this particular program too. Most of the listeners out there know that I've been a Lincoln guy. I am a Lincoln guy. With Town Automotive being a dealer for BMW, it's a natural for me to offer the product, and there's a little bit of a learning curve that I've had in learning about the product. But Mark, you've done a great job helping me out, and I think that we're going to do quite well with the product and service our customers that are considering the product. Mark, is there anything else that maybe we didn't cover tonight that you think needs to be covered regarding the 7 Series or the 5 Series?
Yeah, one new change which will occur for 2013, and this should certainly interest the livery industry, is that new for 2013, the 7 Series, they will now have a new package which is referred to as the executive package. Now, I understand Drew was talking about in England they have the livery package. I don't know what the similarity is, but with this new executive package, it's essentially the luxury seating package, which was previous for 2012, on steroids. So it's the front seats are still ventilated for cooling, for the warm weather. Other features such as it has power rear sunshades, manual side window shades. The controls on the dashboard would be ceramic. That should be interesting. Smartphone integration, head-up display. If you've seen the movie, the Mission Impossible movie, Ghost Protocol, where Tom Cruise is driving that, I forget the actual model number, but the electronic vehicle where he's looking at the windshield and it shows his miles per gallon, his miles per hour. That's head-up display. That will also be available in that package. Essentially, it's projected on the windshield in the driver's line of sight. And lastly, this one I can't wait to see. The instrument panel will have a leather finish.
That will be nice. That'll be it should take it to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
And complement the wood inside.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, we've covered a lot of great information. And Mark, I appreciate you also taking the time to come on today and discuss the BMW products. If any of the customers have any technical questions that they have, they could call myself and I can do my best to answer. Or Mark, how can they reach you if they need to get in touch with you?
They can reach me at Town BMW, which is area code 716-505-2100, extension 458.
Great.
My name is Mark Minnick.
And if you need to reach me, you can call me at 800-730-3683. That's 800-730-3683. Mark, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, David. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for listening to today's Limo Show, presented by Town Livery. We appreciate the time that you've taken to listen to the program. The Limo Show comes to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on Blog Talk Radio. So we encourage you to tune in and listen. Have a wonderful week, and I look forward to speaking with you on the next edition of the Limo Show. Good night.